Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the FIFA Flow podcast, guys. Today we got a pretty not a long video, but I want to do a short video, guys. Talk about my top five current teams so far before the international break, guys. We've had 3 games before the international break for league games in all leagues, and I also want to talk about my top five favorite players at the moment, guys. So nothing too much. I know we have international games on at the moment. We had some pretty good games as well. Italy versus France, which ended up 3-1 for Italy, who finally beat France in Paris for the first time, I believe, or after 60, 70 years. It's been quite a while. We had some other good games. I think we're going to have France-Belgium tomorrow. We had Spain-Switzerland today, which was a really good game. Of course, Spain won 4-1 in the end, but of course, never doubt Switzerland because they gave a really good fight. Um, and then you also have Scotland, Portugal, and for quite some time, Portugal were actually not doing the best. Scotland were holding up; they had some good attacks, and then we also had Croatia, Poland, where Croatia dominated. Poland didn't get the chances, and then at the end they didn't score. Luka Modric, who just turned 39, I think recently, scored a free kick. So amazing for him, of course. 39 years old, him and Cristiano Ronaldo, the goats. And then also Cristiano Ronaldo, on his topic, scored another goal today, making it his 901 goals for him, career goals in all competitions, in all, like, for club, country, everything. 901 goals, which is pretty crazy. So we're gonna talk a bit about that. I want to talk about his achievement, not his achievements, but I want to talk about um kind of that milestone, kind of how these milestones affects, like does this make him a better player than Messi now if he hits 1,000 goals? Because he did mention he wants to play until he hits 1,000 goals. Will that make him a better player than Messi? So I want to talk about those. I want to talk about all of that. But yeah, the main episode, it's not going to be too long, maybe 30-ish minutes, 30, 40 minutes. We're going to be talking about, um, of course, my the top 10 teams right now at the moment. So let's go ahead and talk about them. Right over here, let's see. How do I want to do this? Can I just add video capture? No, no, not a video capture. We want to add a, where is it? Window capture. Yeah, let's just go capture this right here. And then let's put it down here for now. I don't know, not all of it down here, but like over here. But anyways, so yeah, unfortunately, guys, on the last podcast, uh, half of the screen was cut off, so you guys didn't really get to see the really in-depth explanations. Do you guys see the mouse? Uh, oh, don't want to move that. Let's just leave it right here. So you guys really didn't get to see like the in-depth. So here's the table. Of course, we talked about this. This was a big episode. Of course, we talked about our predictions. If you guys haven't checked it out, please go check it out if you want to see my predictions for the Champions League. Of course, over here it was a pretty long episode. We did all the calculations of the points and stuff, and we predicted the new format of the Champions League table, who's going to qualify, who's not going to qualify, how the qualification works, my opinions on the new format. So we talked about all of those. So if you guys missed that, make sure you go check it out. And yeah, we were explaining. So let's just do another quick overview. As I said, like the new format. So this is the old format here. So let's say, so the old format had 4 teams in each group, and it consisted of 1 team from each pot. So technically, if you're in pot, if you were the team from pot 4, you lose both matches against pot 1. I'd say you lose both matches against pot 2, and then maybe you lose one and draw one against pot 3. So basically, if you were the team from pot 4 in the old format, you basically had no chance. So you would get like 1 point here, maybe 0 points. If you go to the new format, you play 2 teams from each pot. So over here, there's a bit more of a chance where you can go. But let's say like they they lose all their games against pot ones, the pot 2 games, and then let's say they lose one here, so that brings them to 6 points. Let's say they win both their games against pot 4, against both the pot 4 teams they have. They draw one against pot 3 and lose one, and then lose the pot 2s and pot 1s, right? Then in that case, they get 6 points, which is just not enough. But like, let's say it's like this as well. That's a draw, so that's 7 points actually, not 8 points. Oh no, it is 8 points. It is 8 points. Over here, yeah, 8 points, and that's enough for our prediction. That was enough to get 8 points. So the reason I say that is because in this old format, if you're in pot 1 or pot 2, it's basically an automatic go through. It was basically like that, because the pot 4 teams had to go against the pot 1 teams twice. You get what I mean? So so I'd say now I feel like for the bigger teams, the new format is pretty much the same, because you face people at your level, like a pot 2, pot 1s, but you also face the lower like pot levels like in the previous format. But I think it benefits the new format, benefits the lower tier, the lower division teams, like a team like Lille, Stade Brestois, who else is in here? I think like Porto. No, actually, I don't even think they're qualified. Sporting, let's say, like those types of teams. Girona, because now those teams get to match. They get 2 games against the players in the same pot. So Girona gets to match 2 teams. They were in pot 4. They get to play against 2 other teams in pot 4. So that's another, what is that, 6 points, and it's almost enough. And then they just need to draw 1 or 2 more games. So it's more beneficial for the lower division teams. I'd say it's pretty much equal for the higher division teams. I put PSG at 20th, and although we have 4 of the most difficult teams, we have Man City, Bayern, Atletico de Madrid, and uh, and Arsenal. Let's say we lose all those games, we still have 4 other easy teams. That's another 16 points right there, and that's more than enough to get into. Even if let's say we lose 6 of the 8 games, or let's say we lose 5 of the 8 games, and we only win against the pot 4s and get a win against one of the pot 3s. That's 12 points, and that's still enough to go through. It is going to be disappointing performance, but what I'm saying is I feel like this gives more of a chance to go through. It's easier to go through, even though there's more games. It seems like it's more difficult, but I feel like for even if you have a hard group like PSG, like Liverpool, and also for the lower teams, it's pretty much beneficial for them because it's easier to go through, because you play more teams. So what I'm trying to get here is, let's say last year we had PSG, Arsenal in the same group. Then PSG would play Arsenal twice, and automatically right there, Arsenal would get 6 points away from PSG. Let's say if we lost twice to Arsenal, that's 6 points there because we're losing. Whereas over here, we can only lose a maximum of 3 points to each team. So it's more distributed. The points are more distributed, so that makes it easier. If you get what I mean. So the only thing I don't really like is that the fact that like you only play each team once, like, and it's either home or either away. That part is a bit weird, but we'll see how it goes. It's the first year. I'm pretty optimistic about this new format. So yeah, as I said, if you guys missed out the video, go check it out on my channel. But yeah, I want to talk about the top 5 teams, and you guys already seen it here. So there's not really a order to this list. So both these lists, I did write no order here, but generally there's not really an order here. I just want to give like some brief talks about each of these teams and the reason I'd say they're in the top 5. And of course, as you can tell, the best team in the world, Real Madrid, are not here because for me personally, they've had a disappointing start. They've had 1 win and 2 draws. And with the likes of, I know they're in an injury crisis, of course, Eder Militao, Jude Bellingham's out. A lot of their main players, I think Tchouameni out. I think he's out. I think Tchouameni is in. Camavinga's out though. David Alaba is out. So yeah, a lot of their main key players are out, of course. And it's not just that. I feel like even with the players they currently have not injured, the likes of Kylian Mbappe, Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr., and then of course in the midfield Valverde. They have Brahim Diaz, Arda Güler. I feel like it's still a little bit disappointing, of what they're showing on the field. I feel like I expect a bit more from them. Now, I do, of course, after the first three games, there's been a lot of comparisons, of course, because a lot of eyes are on Kylian Mbappe's new performances at Real Madrid. And of course, he's one of the biggest players in the world, if not the biggest player in the world, at the biggest club in the world. So you expect a lot. So he's been getting a lot of attention on the media. And from what I've seen on social media, it looks like people are saying, like, I would agree as well that at the moment, Haaland is a better player than Kylian Mbappe. But for me, you really can't compare the two players because they play a different role, of course. You take a look at someone like Real for Kylian Mbappe, he's more of a winger type role, not a Vinny type role, but he's more someone who likes to control the ball on the outside places, on the wide areas, and cut inside. Because one, of course, on the wide areas, there's a bit more room, the running room, the ability to use his pace to run in behind, to make those diagonal runs, to break the back line. Of course, that is in Mbappe's specialty. In the midfield, in that not in the midfield, but in the central area where the striker is, and especially for the way that Real Madrid play, they don't really need a striker, rather they need a false nine. And for me personally, Mbappe is not that player who can play the false nine role. Is because one, his touches are horrendous, and I think the way that he touches the ball is more, yet again, is like that winger type role. He touches the ball so that he can get um that acceleration right after the touch. That's the way he touches the ball. So it's a bit more of a harder touch, so then he can get right into the acceleration. You know what I mean? So, and that's because of like all the time he's played on the wing at Paris Saint-Germain. So for me, Mbappe in that central striker center forward role doesn't work because one, his touches, he's just not used to the way he has to touch in the tight spaces. He's not really that type of player. Um, and then also two, I think it's just the service he receives is not the same as what Haaland receives at Manchester City. Of course, the likes of Jude Bellingham, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Doku, and of course you can say like at Real Madrid you have a lot of the yet like some of the best chance creators, the best passers, Federico Valverde, who actually gave him his first goal assisted in the La Liga, and it was a really good assist. It was like a back heel spin assist or whatever. It was a magnificent assist. But yet again, he's not getting that as much as Haaland is getting. So you have Valverde, who's more like he's becoming he's still developing to be that number 8 role, that Toni Kroos role. So he doesn't pass it a lot. You have Luka Modric, but when Kylian Mbappe came off the pitch, Luka Modric wasn't came on the pitch. So I don't think yet Mbappe has got to play alongside Luka Modric. You have the likes of Arda Güler, Brahim Diaz. So I think they're more better. And then you can also argue you have the likes of Vinny and Rodrigo who can assist Mbappe from the wings, whether it's like a cut inside like the Vinny Benzema. You know, the Vinny Benzema, Vinny down the wing, cuts inside to Benzema. Um, but I don't know, Vinny's like been he's just not the same player. He's not that player who passes it a lot. He likes to carry the ball himself into the box and then maybe at the end pass it or go for a shot. There was a lot of criticism where he didn't pass to Mbappe at sometimes, and there is some rumor that he doesn't want Mbappe to score or like have a good performances because he might get the Ballon d'Or. But I think those are just rumors. But I really don't know. I feel like Vinny needs to pass more for sure. But you can also argue. A lot of people have argued that Modric is a better player than KDB. So why is Modric not assisting Mbappe? But as I said, Mbappe has yet to play with Luka Modric, or if he did, it was very few minutes. And as I said, I think just the role, the way that the La Liga and the Prem work as well. The La Liga is a very defensive system. It's a very very defensive system. Half the teams you see, who did Madrid play? Um, if we take a look over here, if we take a look at, oh yeah, I want to talk about that game as well because Barcelona. We're going to talk about them. Of course, they're in my top 5. We take a look at Real Madrid. They played Las Palmas, Real Betis, and I think Real Valladolid, whatever this team is. But you get what I mean. For me, the La Liga, all those teams, if you take a look at all those teams, they have minimum 7 players behind the ball, like in the defense. So the La Liga system is more defensive. You take a look at the Premier League. We're going to talk about Man City a bit later, but you take a look at the Premier League just in general, it's a way more open system. That the defense line, the whole line, the back line is way more pushed up to the halfway line. So it's pretty similar. Like if we're gonna talk about that 7-0 Barcelona game, amazing game. But if you take a look at that system, of course, Real Madrid system as well, Barca system, and also the Premier League system, it's more attacking. But the other teams in the La Liga like to play defensive. I'd say Madrid are also defensive, but you take a look at a team like Barcelona, they are more attacking. Like they're not as defensive as the other teams in La Liga. And maybe that's also due to, of course, the new signing of Hansi Flick as the new manager. Of course, at Bayern, they also play very attacking at Bayern rather than defensive. But overall, the La Liga is a very defensive league other than Barcelona. And comparing that to the Premier League, there's not that space where Mbappe can run in behind and break the back line. You take a look at the Ligue 1, it's very open in the back line. So that's why Mbappe can use that acceleration, use that pace, make those runs in behind, receive those assists. Now he's more in that central role where there's more, like it's a bit more tight spaces, of course. So for me, I think Haaland is at the moment a better player. But as I said, you can't really compare because there is some differences between the leagues, between the Mbappe, the adaptiveness of Kylian Mbappe to his new role at Madrid in that center forward striker type role. As I said, so it's a bit difficult to compare. So that's personally how I feel, and that's one of the reasons. That's some of the reasons why I personally did not put Real Madrid on this top 5 list. But going to this top 5 list, let's look at some of these teams. Juventus, man, they've had an amazing transfer window. Of course, they did let some players go, I believe. Of course, they let, I think Szczesny has retired now. Federico Chiesa, who went only for a mere 13 million to Liverpool. So I don't know why they let go of some of these players. I feel like, but at the same time, we have to trust. Of course, they have the new manager of Thiago Motta, of course, PSG legend. He won. I think he won the Champions League with Barcelona in 2011. Did he? And then he went to PSG. And when you take a look at Thiago Motta's like coaching career, you don't really expect much. Of course, he had the amazing season last season with who was it? Bologna. No, it was 2006. He won in 2006. When was that? Was that the Arsenal year? They played Arsenal. 2006 UCL. Arsenal Barcelona. So of course, you take a look. He's had an amazing playing career, but when you take a look at his coaching career, of course, he's been not. When you take a look at his coaching career, of course, he's coached Paris Saint-Germain U19 for 1 year, and then he went to Genoa, where I think he played 4 games and left. He then went to this other, I think, team in Italy, in the Serie B, and yeah, he didn't do good. And then he went to Bologna, where they were fighting relegation, and he helped them get out of relegation, or like he fought a good relegation battle. And in 2024, of course, 2023-24 season, which was last season, amazing season. They went to a top 4 in the Serie A. I think they got second or no, I think they got third in the Serie A. And then, of course, they made the Champions League after so many years now, and now he went to Juventus, where I think he fits the system amazingly. For the way that Juventus plays, he plays really good. So yeah, as I said, yeah, they made some really good signings. Douglas Luiz, I think Kostic is going on loan to Fenerbahce, but they made some really good signings of Douglas Luiz. They made another good signing. I forgot who it was though. Kepren Thuram from Nice in the Ligue 1, of course, a legend of his father being a legend for France and for Juventus as well, Lilian Thuram. And then, of course, his brother also plays in the league, Kepren Thuram. So amazing that for them. They got 2 new midfielders who I think fit the system amazingly. Rabiot has exited the club on a free, I think. But But overall, I think the system that he plays, it's a new type of tactic because he doesn't play, like what I'm about to say. He plays what is it, a 2-8-2 or 2-7-2, a 2-6-2. It's a 2-6-2 formation, but it's a 2-6-2 from the side. So he likes his mid. He likes to use that midfield. Of course, the likes of what's his name, Kenan Yildiz. What a player he is. Vlahovic fits really good in the system because the way they kind of play possession and use the wings a lot as well, and then pass it into the. You have the likes of Kenan Yildiz who creates the chances, kind of similar to that Arda Güler type role. You can say that kind of that cam type role, center forward type role, and then of course you have Vlahovic making the runs in behind, um, and then of course there's a new winger from Belgium, who is in the youth squad as well, and he's having a great season. Um, take a look here. So yeah, they tied 0-0 against Roma, but in the previous games, just the way they play against Verona 3-0, Como 3-0. But you take a look here, Kenan Yildiz, Dusan Vlahovic, um, Livramento. It's this guy, is it? Nah, this is the other team, bro. And Bangula, this guy here, what a player he is. What a signing he is. He's like the Serie A version of Doku, you can say, because he's really, really good. So, yeah, you have Yildiz, Fagiolo is really good. Bremer and Gatti, bro. This guy, he's okay. I think he was at. Was he at? He was at Juventus already, but yeah, he's pretty decent as well. Gatti, bro. He's getting that play time, of course. Who did they have? They had Bremer and Alexandra. I think he was the one who exited the club. But oh no, they had Danilo, Kalulu. Oh, Pierre Kalulu also went to Juventus. I didn't even on a loan as well. But yo, see, these are some of the signings, and I personally think when I do career mode or the new football manager that came out for free, I'm still trying to learn it. I always sign Kalulu to Paris Saint Germain. This guy, he's 24 years old. He's young. He still has room to develop. I think he's an amazing player on the ball. Defensively, he's really really good. So I didn't even know that, and it's amazing that they got him. They got Kalulu, of course. Douglas Luiz, we mentioned. They're good. Weston McKennie is still an amazing player, of course. Of course, the American midfielder. I think he was on loan to Leeds last season or the season before, but he's an amazing player. But overall, Di Gregorio as well. He's a really good backup, and now he's going to get some more playing time now that Chesney is out. But overall, the way that they play, as I said, you have the 2, and then you have the 6 in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The way that they play 2-6-2. That's how he likes to play his formation. And as I said, Yildiz in Bangula. Yildiz similar to that Arda Güler role. He just creates the chances. He's like a drop back midfielder, and then creates the chances. And in Bangula, yeah, he's very similar to that Leao type role, that winger who cuts inside type role. Just the new modern type wingers who cut inside. They're very fast paced, pass the ball, maybe take a shot, similar to Rafael Leao, Vinicius Jr., Nico Williams type role. That's the role he has. And of course, they got him for free. Not really for free, but from the academy. I think he was in the Serie B team, in the Juventus B team, who are currently in the Serie B or Serie C even. But yeah, amazing for them. So that's why I put them. I feel like they've kind of like shown some light on them so far. They've had a really good start to the season. Liverpool, guys. Now Liverpool have won all 3 games. They won 3-0 at Old Trafford against United, bro, with Casemiro having a stinker of a game. And I have to agree, the one time I have to agree with Jamie Carragher, of course, one of the worst football pundits. I don't really have a say on that. When people say he's the worst, I just see some of the clips and he says some outrageous stuff. But one thing I agree on is you have to leave football before the football leaves you. And I really agree that Casemiro, man, it's time to hang up the boots or go to Saudi, join Ronaldo at Al Nasser and make that cash, you know? But he has to go for sure. This guy cannot pass at all. So for me, yeah, like even though United had a stinker of a game, for me the way that Liverpool played, and it's not just against that game. You also expect, of course, a player like Jurgen Klopp. You expect someone like that for him to have a legacy at Liverpool, to bring home the Champions League after many years, to win their first Premier League title. They've won English titles, or not the first. Yeah, they've won English titles in the past, but after redoing the league and making it the Premier League, they haven't won a title. So bringing home that title, winning a Champions League, winning multiple FA Cups, and also Carabao Cups, I think, for a legacy like Klopp, and who created a lot of these guys' careers: Van Dijk, Trent, Robertson, Salah, Darwin Nunez, Luis Diaz. You see all these players have been developed and made big names for themselves under Jurgen Klopp. Um, it's pretty difficult to then switch to a new manager, but for sure, like he's had a really really good start, and the fact that he's willing to take players out like Darwin Nunez, is really really good of him, because he's giving more time to Jota, who I think fits, not really fits the system more, but maybe fits his system more. I feel like Jota and Darwin are a bit of a different players, but I think Jota is an amazing player who didn't really get a lot of time in the past season or so under Jurgen Klopp, because Jurgen wanted to give that time to Darwin Nunez. And I feel like now Jota has that role. He fits really good with the players like Luis Diaz. They can do the 1-2s. And also Salah, bro. I want to talk about Salah, because this guy, man, for me, Salah is probably the best, one of the top five Premier League players only. Now you take a look at, like, of course you see, like, I think Ronaldo was the best player to play in the Prem, but his time at the Premier League at United wouldn't really be considered a top five in the league only. You take a look at the Premier League only, I'd say Salah, Thierry Henry, Steven Gerrard, Lampard, uh, Didier Drogba. You can say Hazard as well. I feel like those are when you think of the Premier League, you think of those players. When you think of players who were absolutely crazy who played in the Premier League, you think of someone like Ronaldo. But when you think about the best Prem players, like who played specifically only in the Prem, you think of Salah, because his impact, his history in the Prem. Aguero, you can say Didier Drogba, Thierry Henry. You think about those players, Eden Hazard, you know. So, as I said, for me, Mo Salah, and as I said, yeah, Liverpool as well. Just going back to that topic about Liverpool and Salah, um, and we have Salah. Talking about Salah, we have him on the list as well. Just the way that they play really good attacking football. Trent has started to kind of adapt, not to that right back role, but he's kind of like switching into the midfield role as well. Passing the ball, switching the play, of course. So Robertson as well. Liverpool, man, they're just killing it this season. Let's go ahead and talk about Barcelona and Rafinha, of course, because they're both on my top five list as well. For me, man, Barcelona, of course, Hansi Flick, he's adapted a new spirit into this Barcelona squad. Of course, last season, when you take a look at some of the images of them coming to the arena, to the training areas before the game, they wear anything they want. He's even enforced that before, in the pre-matches, they have to wear just simple Barcelona t-shirt. So it's gotten that strict. There's a lot of strict rules that Hansi Flick has. And of course, the development in there, always in the gym. You know, Hansi Flick at Bayern Munich, he's always making players like so super strong. But for me, Barcelona, guys, a different type of team this year. The way that they hold onto the possession of the ball, the way they attack, and Rafinha, bro, this guy is like he's I don't know what this guy has done. He's had some Neymar juice or some Ronaldinho juice, man. Because this guy, if you take a look at that game against 7-0, first off, Kubarsi, bro, what a ball playing center back. Kind of reminds me of a player like David Alaba or Lucas Hernandez, especially Lucas Hernandez, because these guys are natural kind of left back, center back roles, but play some really good long balls. You can say, so for me, Kubarsi, he's 18, I think 17, 18 years old, and he really reminds me. He's a bit smaller, I think, but like the way that he positions himself defensively, and of course him when he has the ball to his feet, the way he passes the ball, the way he dribbles on the ball, for me reminds me very similar to a role like a David Alaba or Lucas Hernandez at Paris Saint-Germain. So amazing to see him, 17, 18 years old. Barcelona have a really good talents on their hand, and the way that he assisted that first goal. But Rafinha, man, throughout the season, throughout that game as well in the 7-0, the runs that he makes in behind, spectacular. This guy, like, he's starting to read the play. Um, Instead of just being enforced to play in the right wing, he's now kind of has a free roam to play in that attack. He has a free roam to make the runs on the right, make the runs on the left, make the runs in the middle. He has that free roam to him, Rafinha. So, and yeah, that first goal he made the run in behind, great finish around the keeper and then pass from Kubarsi. And then the second goal, who was the second goal? I mean, why not go check? Let's check on Format, man. This Google is really, really bad. Barcelona. Check 7-0 here. And the second goal, Lamine Yamal. This was also a great one. I think it was like a Travella, like outside the boot assist over the top into Lewandowski, and then Lewandowski simple, of course. As I said, for me, the way that Haaland and Mbappe play are not the same role as Lewandowski. For me, I'd personally say, as a player, as a striker, as a pure number 9, Haaland is better. But as a for the Barca, I feel like, as I said, going back, La Liga and Premier League are two different systems. But for me, for the way that Barcelona play, I think that Haaland would fit into the system somewhat, not in the same role that Lewandowski plays. I feel like he would be more as a pure striker. For the way that Barca are using their striker, they're using the striker more as a false 9, like a Benzema type role. They're playing as a Suarez type role. They're playing it as a Lewandowski type role. For the way that Haaland plays, he's not really a false 9 type player. He's more of a pure striker where he needs the service. So, and that's yet again, that's the way that for me, I don't think Haaland fits into the Madrid system at all. I think he'd be worse than Mbappe right now, because for the way that the La Liga, the system works, it's more like you need to have good touches, need to be able to dribble and pass in the tight spaces. And that's why Lewandowski plays more as a false 9 rather than a pure striker. He plays more as a false 9. Less players like Lamine Yamal and Rafinha to make the runs in behind, and then they can cut back into to Lewandowski. That's the way that Lewandowski plays. The way that Haaland plays is a bit different. So for me, I feel like Lewandowski is the perfect type of striker. I really don't know how Haaland would fit into the system, because Haaland doesn't have the same passing, dribbling abilities like a player like Lewandowski. Haaland doesn't have a false 9 role. He's more like a pure striker role, if you get what I mean. So I just want to say, Lamine Yamal, amazing, amazing assist. But yet again, Lewandowski, he makes some occasional runs in behind, and he made a good run in behind. Amazing through ball, over the top through ball, like a Messi-esque through ball from Lamine Yamal. And assisted. The way that the whole team works, yeah, of course, Rafinha, Lewandowski, Rafinha, Dani Olmo, and yeah, of course, the Shark had a really good game. He got an assist and a goal. Dani Olmo, of course, he fits the system really, really good. I really don't know what Nico. I feel like Nico Williams would also fit the system, but even next year, like, it really depends who they exit. I feel like if they want to get someone like Nico Williams, Fernan Torres has to go. But if they want to keep Fernan, I really don't know if Nico Williams is the play. It really depends who exits, how much funds they have, and what the type of players they need. I feel like right now, I feel like they have the wingers. Unless Fernan Torres goes, I really don't think that next year, I really don't think they need Nico Williams. It really depends. It really depends, of course. He is a player like that fits Barca's system, but for what they have at the moment, I really don't think he would get into, like, you have to kind of sacrifice some players like Fernan Torres. I'd say right now Barca's focus should definitely be on a new center back, because I think there's some rumors of Ronald Araujo kind of wanting to leave. I don't think he's extended his contract as well. I think he's kind of pressured to go to Bayern Munich to have some real competition for him, real competition, because I really do think that Barcelona can win the league this season under Hansi Flick. From what I've seen in the first 3 games, I really like the way Barcelona plays. So, but yeah, as I said, it really depends who the focuses are. They need to focus on what type of players they need. If they want to bring in Nico Williams, which I think would be really good for of course, for the media, for the money, and also for him, for Nico Williams himself. I think is great. He's young as well. He can develop. He's going to stay at Barcelona for a long time, but they have to sacrifice Fernan Torres. Otherwise, I don't think Nico Williams is a must. It's more like a want rather than a need. And I think they need to focus on, of course, center back with the rumors of Araujo leaving. And also, I think maybe a new fullback or a new center mid, and also a new goalkeeper as well. They definitely need to get a new goalkeeper, a backup. I think Arnau Tenes, of course, he's at Paris Saint-Germain, but maybe they can loan him out next year. I wouldn't mind. I think that could be amazing. He was at La Masia as well, and when Luis Enrique came last year, they signed him, so maybe they can get a loan on him, give him more time as well for Arnau Tenes from Paris Saint-Germain. Um, so a goalkeeper, center back, I think a new fullback as well, like a right back or left back, because with the leaving the departure of Cancelo, they might need a new fullback. And then also, I think a new center mid or a CDM would be good for them as well. So, although Nico Williams is really, really good for them, he's not a must player. He's a need. Like, he's not a need player, he's a want player. You get what I mean? But overall, the way that Barcelona have been playing this season, really, really good. As I said, Rafinha, Dani Olmo, he fits the system really good. Because I think that's what Barcelona were missing. They were missing that cam role. They needed someone who can play in that cam. They had the defensive midfielder, which was De Jong. They had the box-to-box midfielder, like they had the Xavi midfielder type, which was Pedri. Gavi's injured. They needed that Iniesta role, and for me, Dani Olmo's not on the level of Iniesta, but he's a player who's not really defensive. Like he's a midfielder, but he's more of an attacking midfielder. Iniesta was miles clear, of course, but you kind of get what I mean. They needed someone who was more attack minded rather than box to box. They had the box, they had the Xavi, which is Pedri. They had the not really the Busquets, but more of a defensive player like De Jong. They just needed that attack minded player. And for me, Gavi, I think, was that player, but he's now injured, of course. So they brought in Dani Olmo, and he's done really good. So, yeah, good for Barcelona, man. I'm really excited to see what they can do. And I think they're gonna win. I really think they can win the La Liga this season for sure. So let's see what they can do there. Going on to Man City, we kind of talked about them earlier, like when comparing them to a team like Real Madrid. For Man City, guys, the reason I feel like you kind of expect more from Man City, but as I said, the reason that Man City are on this list is because one, they've won all three of their games. As I said, you expect more, but the fact that they've won all three of their games and yet Rodri, I don't think KDB has played yet, or maybe he has, but Rodri hasn't played. Like some of their key players haven't really played yet. You know what I mean? So the fact that they're doing this good without the main players playing yet is pretty crazy. And for me, as I said, we talked. You take a look at that the last game that City had against West Ham, and just look at the goals that Haaland scored. As I said, the way that the Premier League system works, it's so open and attack minded. It's so high up on the line. You take a look at that, and all three goals that Haaland scored, he had the space to run. He had that. He just ran. He just runs, goes and shoots. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to dribble in the tight spaces like Mbappe in the La Liga. You know what I mean? And that's why I say kind of that like Haaland wouldn't fit the system in the La Liga because he can't dribble really good. And this guy barely gets 10 touches a game, let alone 5 touches a game. So for me, I feel like Haaland is the best player for a Prem system, not for he's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time for him to adapt to a system like La Liga. If he's gonna join Barcelona next year or in 2-3 years after his contract expires, then it's gonna be pretty difficult because right now he's getting all the service he needs from De Bruyne, what's his name, Bernardo Silva, Doku, Savinho, who's also done really good. He's kind of like a new regen of rejuvenated. He's like a new regen version of Riyad Mahrez. So yeah, for me, Man City, guys. Yet they haven't played the big players yet, and also the way that the Prem system works, Haaland is like the best. This guy scored 7 goals in 3 games in the supposed hardest league in the world. I think there is an argument to that. Of course, I really don't agree that the Prem is the hardest league in the world, but um, for supposedly being the hardest league in the world. Haaland, bro, 7 goals, 3 games. This guy is how many? What's the record? He said it was 36 goals. Let me take a look over here. Um, over here, most goals. Yeah, Haaland, 36 goals. This guy needs 30 more goals. It's been 3 games. Let's say this guy like does it again. That's if this guy scores 7 goals per 3 games, that's 70 goals, bro. That's just gonna be crazy. But even if this guy scores like 1 or 2 goals per game for the remaining games, he can get back up there to 30. Honestly, I think if he can keep up a goal or two per, if he can get 3 goals per 2 games or 3 goals per 3 games, maybe even if he does 3 goals per 4 games, he can honestly beat his or get very close to his record. Maybe set a second most goals in a season record. He can get up there for sure. So the way that Haaland is, we have him on my top 5 players as well. And then last but not least, Paris Saint Germain. PSG, man, of course, they've lost some key players, of course. Well, not really key players, but a key player, Kylian Mbappe, for free as well. They've lost Ugarte, who I really liked as a DM. He is really, really good, and that's what United needed. Casemiro, it's time for him to pack his bags, man. Either retire from football or go to Saudi, make the cash. Ugarte was the perfect type of player for United. So hopefully they can take good care of Manuel Ugarte. But yeah, we've lost Ugarte, we lost Kylian Mbappe, and yet we are still one of the top best teams so far in the first 3 games. For our first 3 performances, I've seen nothing but magic, guys. Barcola, man, this guy has 4 goals in 3 games for Paris Saint Germain. This guy is like, a lot of people doubted him, man, but like I always in Barcola, I kind of make a joke with someone where I say like Barcola is better than Lamine. He's not better than Lamine, but a lot of people have doubted him for sure. And I think for me, Barcola is an amazing player. I think he kind of has the similar style of play to Kylian Mbappe, down the wing, cut inside, far post. You know what I mean? Um, Barcola for me, amazing, amazing player. João Neves as well, man. This guy is like another. He's like a more defensive version of Vitinha. We have Zaire Emery, who's a box to box. Vitinha also box. Like we have Zaire Emery, Vitinha, and João Neves should be illegal. Of course, you have João Neves who has 4 assists or 5 assists, 4 assists in 2 games for Paris Saint Germain. So amazing, amazing player. And the way he's very small. He kind of reminds me. Last season, I was saying that Vitinha was the Verratti 2.0. But now with João Neves, I say that João Neves is the Verratti 2.0. He's more of a DM, but he's very aggressive as well. He's like a bully, and the way that he defends reminds me very like Verratti. He's always composed. He's good on the ball. His passing is good. Of course, as I said, and his um, what is it? What is the other word I just said? He's very aggressive. What is like just overall, he's a very aggressive player. Just the way that he plays, very very similar to Marco Verratti. I'd say he's like a new version of Verratti. So hopefully he can be really good. Fabrizio Romano said he was the best transfer this summer for Paris Saint for all the transfers. He was the best transfer, and that he could possibly be one of the best midfielders of all time. That's what Fabrizio Romano said. And I don't know about the best midfielder of all time. It's going to take a lot for that to happen. You have so many players in that list of best midfielders of all time. But for sure, this guy's a different talent. He's a special talent. So, amazing start for all these teams. PSG, Man City. PSG, of course, losing the likes of Ugarte and Kylian Mbappe, but have made a new role. And of course, we have Asensio as well, who's been getting some more time. And I do like the role that Asensio is playing. We have Goncalo Ramos, who is injured, so now we kind of only have one striker, which is Colomwani, which I don't really like. But at the same time, now that gives more time for Colomwani to play. Maybe he can become better, but also more time for Asensio to play. And I think the way that Asensio plays, in that false nine role is also really, really good for the way that PSG play as well. So I feel like before, I said this in the last episode or the episode before, PSG were playing like they were focusing their attacks around Mbappe. Now it's more collectively as a team. So overall, PSG, we lost Kylian Mbappe, we lost Ugarte, but we have showed that we don't need star players. We have players like João Neves, Zaire Emery, Vitinha, Barcola, Dembele, of course, Pacho as well, who's been a good signing for PSG. I feel like sometimes he does push up a lot, which kind of leaves an open gap. And Beraldo as well. I think we do need a new left back because he's not the best on the ball. Um, you get what I mean? He's not the best passer and stuff. But overall, PSG, we lost a few players. We lost the best player in the world, Kylian Mbappe, also Ugarte. But we've shown that we don't need star players to win games. In Man City, they haven't even used some of their best players, and they still have 3 wins in 3 games in the best league in the world, with Haaland having outrageous performances, 7 goals in 3 games. Barcelona, under Hansi Flick, they are a different team from last season under Xavi. They are a different type of team. Rafinha thinks he's Ronaldinho now because this guy is also a different gravy this season. Liverpool, of course, after the departure of a legendary manager like Jurgen Klopp, have now gotten themselves Arne Slot, and they've won all 3 of the games. Amazing performances by Mohamed Salah, Luis Diaz, Trent Alexander-Arnold. So they've done good in Juventus as well under Thiago Motta. He fits the system well, the way that they play. Vlahovic is like a new type of player after Allegri left. With the introduction of Thiago Motta, the way that Vlahovic is playing under him is really, really good. Kenan Yildiz kind of like that similar Arda Güler role. So amazing start to the leagues from a lot of these teams and players. But yeah, we'll see. Of course, international break. And next week we have games and also the Champions League on the week after. In 2 weeks we have Champions League. I'm very excited for that. We'll talk about that next week, or yeah, I think next week we'll talk about the Champions League predictions before the first game week. Maybe we'll do a draft. Not a draft. What's it called? The fantasy of the Champions League Champions League fantasy team. Maybe we'll kind of do that together as well on a podcast next week. But yeah, pretty much all to talk about. Let's end it off with a Footy tic-tac-toe. Yeah, I think it's recording, so we should be fine. Go ahead, close all these. So Footy tic-tac-toe. Let's see our elite ball knowledge. No time. PSG Inter. So we got Skriniar. PSG Euros. Fabian Ruiz. PSG Sweden. We got Zlatan. Chelsea Inter. Romelu Lukaku. Chelsea Euros. Who's won the Euros with Chelsea? Any Italian players? No. They don't have any Spanish players either, do they? Was Azpilicueta? I don't know. Was he in the? No, I don't know. He wasn't in the thing, and he wasn't called up. Portuguese players. Chelsea Euros. Spanish players. They don't have really any Spanish players. Jorginho for Italy. Yeah, he fits Arsenal as well. But if we wanted to redo that one, we can say someone like David Raya, of course, the goalkeeper. Arsenal, Inter, you have Dennis Bergkamp. Don't even know how to spell his first name. Dennis Bergkamp. Arsenal, Sweden, you have Freddie Lundberg. And then Chelsea, Sweden. Oh, why do I feel like this is some easy player in here? Like a player from the streets, and I just don't know. Negative ball knowledge. Chelsea, Sweden. I don't know. Let's check. Let's see. No, I don't know who the heck that guy is. I don't know who he is as well. And career break, bro. This guy's on a career break. Nah, bro. I don't know who any of those guys are. That's a bit unlucky. Let's see. Football Tenable. Most profitable transfers of all time, excluding players that came through the club's academy. Tchouameni, who was signed by Monaco for 18 mil and sold for 80 mil to Real Madrid, leaving a profit. Okay, let's see this. So, Mbappe, did he? I don't think he came through Monaco's academy. So I'm gonna go put Kylian Mbappe. No ways. He was in the academy. So there's someone like Neymar. Neymar has to be up there, right? Okay, yeah, he has to be number one as well for sure. Who's a player like? Okay, Vinny hasn't been sold though. Darwin Nunez, like someone like Darwin Nunez. Nah, bro. Did Haaland? I'm gonna go ahead and put Darwin Nunez. I feel like no ways. Nah, but Dembele, those lost profit. Griezmann. Dembele, but he came from Stade Rennes. Went to Dembele. Let's put them. No, I put Moussa Dembele, bro. It selected Moussa Dembele. Why is Moussa Dembele the first option, man? Reveal answers. Oh, there's gonna be a thing here. Let's just close it while it shows the ad because I want to see what the answers are. But I'm gonna guess Ousmane Dembele, maybe Griezmann as well, because they bought him from Real Sociedad. He went to Atletico de Madrid and went 100 mil there. Lukaku maybe. Coutinho, yeah, Coutinho, Dembele, Griezmann, Caicedo, Bale, Hazard, Vlahovic, Anthony, Enzo Fernandes. Okay, yeah, I think Dembele and Griezmann were clear. Coutinho, I guess from Liverpool, yeah, that could have been clear as well. They got him for like 100 mil plus for Barcelona. Caicedo, I just didn't know like someone like Caicedo and Enzo. Like I didn't know like maybe they were at Benfica's, maybe like Caicedo was at Brighton's academy. Maybe Enzo was at Brighton's academy. Anthony, I think Anthony was at Benfica before he went to Ajax. So maybe I'm thinking of David Neres. Yeah, Vlahovic as well. Yeah, unlucky. But yeah, I meant to do Ousmane Dembele. Unlucky there. Let's go see Contexto. What the heck is this? It's this one now. Uria, nah, this one. Football bingo. Yeah, let's do this one as well. Let's do timers. So Marco Reus is German. Raphael Varane. Was he at Lille's? No. Top scorer. Oh, Real Madrid, bro. I didn't see that. Fernan Torres. Barcelona. Theo Hernandez. Italian top division winner with Inter, or with AC Milan. Montolivo, bro. Negative ball knowledge. Marcelo. De Jong. But I don't know who this guy is. Malodo, bro. That sounds like Jude Bellingham. English. Patson Daka. Oh, is he? Nah, bro. Emery Chan. Dortmund. Bauman, bro. I don't know. Shoisky. Czech. Thierry Henry. Inzaghi. Was he? Nah, he wasn't, bro. Because negative ball knowledge for me. Pepe Reina. But we don't have Liverpool or anything, bro. Eden Hazard. Leo. Radamel Falcao. Barros. Nope. Roberto Carlos. Nope. Juan Cuadrado. No. Sadio Mane. Is he Senegal? He's Senegal. I was wondering. Aguerd. I don't. What's he associated at? I was thinking somewhere else. I think he's at West Ham right now. Pedro Porro. Pochettino. No, really, he wasn't at Pochettino. At Spurs. Miroslav Klose, top scorer. Jan Oblak. No. Sergio Ramos. No. Michael Essien is Ghanaian. Franck Kessié. No. Trippier. I don't know, like Spurs maybe? Yeah, he might have been at Spurs. Barak Yilmaz, no. Achraf Hakimi, no. Honda. Does he play at Bayern? I think. Where negative ball knowledge from me. Jerome Boateng. Nah, this guy definitely didn't play with Robin. Honda. Where did Honda play, bro? Isn't he like one of like? Isn't he like a legendary? Not le. How old is this guy now, man? AC Milan, like back in the day. Not back in the day. It's like a few years, like 5, 6 years ago. But yeah, unlucky there. Let's see anything else where I can show my elite ball knowledge. Missing 11. Who's today's game? 2022 World Cup qualifier, Brazil, Ecuador. Allison over here. That's definitely not Danny Alves. Danny. Who's like a left back and right back for Brazil though? Then Nilo. Who's the other guy? Gabriel? But it's not Gabriel. It doesn't fit here. Thiago Silva. I don't even know who the back line is, man. Who's in the midfield here? Douglas Luiz. Who's the striker? Gabriel Jesus. Is it Jesus here? No. And then Neymar wasn't even playing here. Who's like a winner? Vinicius. How do you spell Vinicius? Rodrigo. Who's R, bro? Who starts with the R and a winger? Who's a Brazilian winger that starts with a R for Brazil? And like in the midfield, in the cam, Lucas Paqueta. I don't know. I had to put S because it didn't fit. Nah, bro. I don't watch Brazil or finish, man. I don't even watch him. Career path, anything else? Okay, so this guy was at United. He was at 3 teams. He was at United from 04 to 08. At United. In United from 04 to 08. So let's just go ahead and put someone like Ronaldo. And then he went to Real Zaragoza on loan for 1 year. Oh, what I think is this Gerard Piqué, bro? Let's go. Elite ball knowledge. Yeah, elite ball knowledge. And then let's see anything else. Guess the football pack. Let's see. Wordle. Nah, let's try this pack 11 and then end it off there. So let's do normal difficulty. So between this guy here who's a midfielder and this guy here who's a defender, I reckon a midfielder would surely have more passes. Oh, but Guerrero is a really good player. He's also in the kind of midfield. I'd say shots. I think he has more shots. Oh, barely though. How many times? It's been 6. Oh, it's been 1 hour. This podcast would be way shorter, but I guess not. Perisic. It definitely has more fouls won, I'd say. Because Perisic is more of an attacking player. This guy definitely has more shots than Koke. Koke is more defensive. This guy definitely has, but just the way that City play, they also pass a lot. But is this like, when is this? Is this top stars 22/23? Like, is this dependent on last season? Fouls one. I'd say shots. No way. So he has 9 shots as a defender. This guy, now passes for sure. Varane. Foden. Okay, this guy definitely has fouls, 1 shots, yellows. Does Foden have any yellow cards? Oh, barely. Benjamin Hendricks at RB passes. See, I don't know when it's from though. Like, when is this from? You know what I mean? Anything else we can do before to show my elite ball knowledge? We can do a draft, I guess. Pack 11, box to box, tic-tac-toe. Yeah, let's do draft and then end it off there. So we have to get the smallest XI. So at Atletico de Madrid, who's a small player? At Atletico de Madrid, who's a small Julian Alvarez? $170, that's okay. Marseille, bro, these are rats. Greenwood. Is Greenwood? I don't know how tall Greenwood is. They don't even have him on here because of the allegations, whatever. Who's a small player at Marseille? Is this all time though? I don't know if it's all time. Like, is Alexis Sanchez? Maybe Correa then. Joaquin Correa. His loan ended. Alright, let's see. Smallest Marseille player. Let's just search it up, honestly. Mapao. Marseille squad list. Luis Enrique. Let's do him. Luis Enrique. He's my signing. 181, bro. Alright, surely it's N'Golo Kante, man. Oh my, I don't even have him. Who else is small? Camavinga, maybe? 182. That's like my height, man. 5'10. 5'11, whatever it is. Liverpool. Is Trent small? McAllister? Luis Diaz, maybe? 180 for Luis Diaz. England. Who's small at England, bro? What's his name? What's the... Nah, he's like 6 foot though. Foden, I guess. 170, that's pretty decent. Spain, like Pedri, bro. He's pretty small. 174, Real Madrid. But now it's all the backlines. Yeah, let's just do... Wait, like, let's say I do something like... Let's do Modric. Can I do Modric? Okay, 172. That's pretty good. Nuno Mendes is pretty small, I think. 183. I thought he was smaller. Argentina. Messi. That's too Messi. It's a defender, though. That's why. Selected position. I guess Molina. 175. Paris Saint-Germain. Zague. Does it have Zague? 182 for Beraldo. La Liga. Goalkeepers. Nah, it's over, bro. Let's just do Courtois. 200 centimeters. Unlucky. But anyways, yeah, that's enough of my elite ball knowledge. I'm just too good. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed today's podcast, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell. So next podcast, probably next week. We're gonna do some predictions for the Champions League first week, and also just talk about the 4th week of football. We're gonna do our fantasy Champions League team next week as well on the next podcast together. But yeah, overall, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. We're at 56 subscribers, so let's see if we can get 60 by the end of the year. But yeah, yeah. Stay happy, stay positive, stay flow, and I'll see you later. Yeah, I just remembered I was gonna talk about achievements with Ronaldo hitting his 900th. We'll do that on the next episode. So don't worry, I'll do that on the next episode. For now, I'll see you later. Au revoir.